What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel, and of course, this is another episode of the Daily Vlog Live. It's Friday. It's August 31st, and it is the year 2018. Can you believe it, man? 2018, August 31st, September is tomorrow. We just moved through this month of August real quick. Let's see here. I am live in effect. All right, so Christian Jensen is checking in. What is up? How's it going, Christian? Nice to see you. Crunchy checking in. And this is the Land of Amara, which I believe this game, I think, is it being kickstarted, or does it have like a Patreon or something? I forget what the deal is with Land of Amara. I do like the visual style of it. I like how colorful it is. I am a sucker for incredibly colorful, bright, vibrant type of things. Definitely a God style game here. T-Dub, hi all. What is up, T-Dub? Test Rim, Fluke, Sponge 720. Everybody is checking in. Okay, so, why don't we start things off with our buddy Sebastian from MRTV. Sebastian, the lucky devil, man. This guy, in the last, week, has tried Magic Leap 1, and he's also tried StarVR. What an incredible lucky devil is Sebastian. Hussein X checking in as well. I'm going to go ahead and play some of this Sebastian video, a video from his channel. I've snipped it up a little bit just for brevity's sake. Let's check this out real quick and we can talk about this.
So I went all the way to Berlin, to the IFA 2018, in order to try out the StarVR 1. This is the StarVR 1 white FOV headset, and you know what? Let's go into it.
Lip sync seems to be way off on this.
The StarVR 1,
Not sure what the deal
the new VR headset that we've announced 2 weeks ago at SIGGRAPH.
Exactly.
We've remained secret for quite a while because we spent a lot of time and engineering in developing this new product.
I'm very excited to try it out. This. Okay, this is beautiful. This is indeed beautiful. This is really, really a nice FOV. Wow. Okay.
Pull up your pants, Sebastian.
What you're saying here. Wow.
Pull up your pants, bro.
So this is indeed a huge field of view. Let me just give them my very first impression. I think I already told you my very first impression. So in terms of field of view, it kills anything that's on the market. It kills the X-Style, and I might say it also kills the Pimax. And everything is basically screen, just as if you're there in reality. Really, the only thing, if you look a bit down, okay, then you see the nose probably. But it is.
I don't know what happened to the lip sync here. It was fine when.
The best VR experience until now I've ever had. So I would like to see what else you got there.
Yeah, so that is Sebastian from MRTV. Every once in a while, he does check in the chat, and he was at IFA in Berlin, and this is where he was able to sample this. So he has his hands. He's holding the StarVR. One of the things that you can see with StarVR as well is it's significantly less bulky than Pimax. It's a lot smaller than Pimax. It's a lot smaller than the X-Tau, or what is it called? That other headset from the VR engineers or whatever they're called. So it is a pretty compact headset. And Sebastian, during this video, he basically says, this is full human vision for the most part. You look up, you look over there, you look around. While your eyes are in the headset, you look around, you do not see any of the limitations except when you look down, because when you look down, you'll see your nose and the nose area. And that's really the only negative that he talks about here. And he says that pretty much this headset is killing every headset that is out there, including Pimax, basically all of them. So Sebastian was definitely very hyped on this. Unfortunately, the big Debbie Downer with this whole thing is apparently this could be a consumer-facing product in about 2 years, not right now. But if you go to the Vive subreddit, MRTV, StarVR blows away all of the competition. the new king of high-end VR. It has 192 comments, so a lot of people jumping in on this. He says the field of view is close to or equal to human field of view. They are not bullshitting with those 210 field of view horizontal. They are not bullshitting. And he says, as far as the screen door effect, you can hardly make out any of it. The RGB stripe matrix panel, similar to PlayStation VR, is just the way to go. Also, I don't think there were any God rays or anything. He talked about that as well. 450 grams. One of the questions I have, does this headset and what it looks like, does this put any pressure on Oculus? Because Oculus, with their CV2, one of the things that they're looking at here is Oculus was going to do the 140, you know, the half dome, right? And they were able to miraculously fit the thing inside the shell of an Oculus CV1 and still give you that half dome experience in a regular size headset. Now, I thought the alternative was to go Hammerhead, and I thought it was Pimax, and it's not a very fashionable alternative. You know, it's not a very sensible alternative. But you look at this, it's not a huge monstrosity on Sebastian's head. You know, this is not a crazy thing to put on top of your head. So does Oculus maybe need to rethink things here and maybe try to give us a bigger field of view? Of course, there's a lot of other complications that come along with this, so it is a concern to be sure. Let's see what Hussein X is saying. StarVR has custom panels and lenses, which took 2.5 years to engineer, according to the MRTV video that he watched last night, the full video there. Hussein X said, wide field of view ran into problems. The problems could be high GPU requirements, Pimax struggling unless you have a high-end card. Yeah, this is obviously not meant for, this isn't meant for the mass market. You pretty much need to have like the best card there is, and you might need to have two of them running an SLI to truly take advantage of this thing. But man, it does look like it is the one that everybody is dreaming about. Great Tan Trum says, figures that the most advanced VR set is not coming to consumers. Well, at least not yet. You know what? You just got to open up your own VR arcade and just say F it. I wonder how much this is actually going to cost for somebody that has a VR arcade. You can make this as the main event of your VR arcade is to get some hands-on with this 210 field of view. Just incredible. So that would be huge for a VR arcade and for that immersion and all that. The lenses are the reason why it isn't so big. But yeah, that is Sebastian with StarVR. This guy, Lucky Devil, needs to pull up his pants a little bit, but he did try Magic Leap 1 very recently. Now he's tried StarVR. He is really out there trying to do some stuff. Okay, let's see, what can we get into? Well, you know, one thing I can mention really quick is that Apex Construct has a physical release, and I believe this is available today in most markets where you can buy PlayStation VR physical games. Apex Construct by Fast Travel Games does have a physical version. Now, is this that big of a deal? Not really, but if you're a game developer, how awesome is it? Like, for example, if you worked for Fast Travel Games and you worked on Apex Construct and you spent maybe 2 years of your life banging away on Apex Construct, how cool would it be to go down to your local GameStop or your local game or whatever it is and buy yourself a copy of Apex Construct, the physical version, and able to, you know, be able to set it on your shelf? Like, that is a cool thing. So Apex Construct is available. I believe it's $29.99 is pretty much what it is going for. I'm a fan of Apex Construct. This is the Signia Cup, which is kind of this little multiplayer thing that they created.
4, 3, 2, 1,
I didn't really get into this. I didn't really mess around with this. I don't know. Has anybody checked this out? I was a fan of Apex Construct. I liked it. Let's check out a little bit of this trailer because I never messed with this. Looks kind of like a shooting practice, target practice. Yeah, so I don't know about Signia Cup, but I was kind of a fan of Apex Construct. I enjoyed my time with Apex Construct, and it's nice to see them get a physical version. That is kind of cool. Okay, another trailer that we can check out today. This is the Google Spotlight Stories. They've been doing all kinds of things. This is Age of Sail. Let's check this out.
No use for old sailor. And I was supposed to be alone.
Well, you're not alone.
Age of Sail. Have you guys tried all of the various Google Spotlight Stories? They've had a lot of good ones. I believe they're all free, and you can find them on Steam. Let me look that up. Google Spotlight Stories, because I know they have like 4 of them or something like that. I think I've seen most of them. Pearl, of course, is kind of like the famous one that most people think about. You got Pearl, Piggy, Back to the Moon, Rain or Shine, On Ice, Special Delivery, Scenaria. I do remember Scenaria. Yeah, I enjoyed Scenaria. I enjoyed Rain or Shine. I enjoyed Pearl. But, you know, you might as well check them all out, right? They're all free. This is another one. Age of Sail. Looks pretty cool. It's always nice. I mean, I bring this up over and over again. I mean, I keep hammering away on the fact that in the world of virtual reality, we've got so much free content. People can complain about the fact that you've got to spend so much money on this hardware, but man, we are just showered with free content like this. And it might only last a couple of minutes, and it might be, you know, pretty basic, and you probably wouldn't have paid $5 for this thing, but you get to sample it, you get to check it out. But you know what? I want to get to a comment that Fluke made in chat, which I think is really interesting. He says, if Oculus and StarVR both launched tomorrow with their brand new headsets, which one would you get? Would you get StarVR with a massive field of view, or would you get a new Rift with a dynamic focal adjustment? And answering this question is difficult. See, we don't know for sure that CV2 is actually going to have that dynamic focal adjustment. That might not make it till CV3. Maybe they were giving us just a little sneak peek, but maybe they can't integrate that quickly into the CV2 and trust that the mechanism is going to hold up over time. It's not going to have issues. So there's questions about all of that. StarVR, man, this seems like if you want the most cutting edge VR experience humanly possible, you got to get your hands on a StarVR headset. That's just all there is to it. You got to figure out a way to get your hands on that StarVR headset. Now, Hussein X is saying StarVR uses the ugly Vive wands, and it does, and you don't have legit controllers, but I would imagine it does use Steam VR, so when Knuckles are available, imagine you've got that StarVR headset, you got Knuckles, you got Lighthouses 2.0, you got a larger area. The biggest downside that we get into with StarVR is the fact that, okay, when these brand new games come out, when Stormland comes out, will Stormland take advantage? Can I play Stormland on the StarVR headset, and will it look any different than it would for somebody that has the CV2? You know, and that's kind of the question that we get into. Also, certainly there are going to be arcade experiences that are dialed in for StarVR, but they're also going to be meant for arcade operators that are running a facility and people are constantly coming in and out of there, and they're paying $30 for an hour of VR, and they're paying good money to get these experiences that have been modified for StarVR. If you're a regular consumer, is there something you're going to be able to do there? Are you going to be able to somehow hack various games to try to get it to kind of take advantage of that field of view? Will it do it naturally? Will Steam have some kind of trick that gets it all working? So right now, I mean, StarVR is the headset that everybody would probably want, but I just don't know how viable it is. It's kind of like owning a HoloLens or a Magic Leap right now. It's more of a luxury item because you're going to have possibly limited use case scenario. Now, if it's a situation where you're firing up Space Pirate Trainer and Vanishing Realms and Fallout 4 VR and Skyrim VR, and every single game you're getting a significant benefit with that StarVR headset, then yeah, it may be worth $3,000. You know, you might have to pay $3,000 to get your hands on one of these things, but you might have the most incredible experience, like 10 years ahead of the average Joe Blow out there. So that would be freaking incredible. These are crazy days of VR. I got to tell you, these are crazy days of VR. We are constantly going to have new headsets, new options. If you're a hardcore enthusiast in this category, you better have 2 or 3 jobs because it's going to get expensive. Okay, let's take a look at a video for something called Fragment VR. This is something that somebody made, which if you have an HTC Vive or if you have an HTC Vive Pro, you can use Fragment VR to basically cut out a window of your play space and put that somewhere so you can always kind of keep an eye on where your cat is. You can keep an eye on the door to your room occasionally. You know, you can grab that window, you can set it over there. You can be playing your game and then just look to that window. You've got your keyboard there. I mean, yeah, this is kind of janky. It's kind of, not the most elegant workaround because we know the resolution for the internal Vive camera, not very good at all. Set it to hidden for clutter-free gameplay. So, I mean, I'm not sure exactly how this thing works, but it certainly is interesting. I'm assuming this can run in the background while other games run, maybe, hopefully. Let's see, modify corner positions to get the right shape. It's an interesting thing to have. It's definitely an interesting utility to have. If you have a Vive or you have a Vive Pro, I think this is like $5.99. So it's probably worth experimenting with. This is Fragment VR, which, let me look this up real quick. I think it's $5.99. I think it just came out today. Let's check out this trailer and see what they say. Interesting choice of music here for their you can browse the internet and whatnot as well, of course. So yeah, that is Fragment VR. Don't know if anybody is going to pick that up today and check that out. Obviously you do need a Vive. Fragment VR Steam. Fragment VR on Steam. Yeah, so this is $5.99, so it is $6, and it just came out today. Fragment VR is a VR application for HTC Vive owners that makes use of the front camera to create windows onto your surroundings from within virtual reality. My number one question, though, is can you do it while in a game, or is it only in the Steam VR menu? Because that isn't that great. let's see, Fragment VR is an application for HTC Vive owner, blah, 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 blah. Puts each view into a Steam VR overlay so that you can create and view them while you are in any other VR game or app. Multiple overlays, HTC Vive Pro support, higher camera frame rate, greater UI functionality, other HMDs, and external camera support. So, you know, that's kind of cool. Actually, you could set up an external camera to have it going in a particular area, and that's your, you know, so you could still see your room, even if you have an Oculus Rift. If you have an Oculus Rift, you can get this, and you can set up like an extra USB camera, and then you could still have a corner view of like your door or something like that. So, you know, not a bad idea, not a bad idea. Crunchy says the video shows it working in Beat Saber. Yeah, and that's Onward, right? So I guess it does actually work during the game. If it works during the game, not a bad idea. Going back though, Crunchy is saying StarVR 1 is not going to be cheap. That is for sure. Yeah, honestly, at this point, looking at StarVR and considering that it is clearly the flagship HMD that's out there for VR, I kind of would be shocked if it's less than like $27.99.99. So my guess is $2,800 or more for StarVR, and you probably need to order like 5 of them or something. So they'll probably have a requirement where you have to order multiple of them, and it is going to be pricey. It is not meant for the consumer market. They said that it's going to be about 2 years before StarVR hits the consumer market. Okay, let's get into, let me bounce actually. I'm going to bounce, well, I'll put a different trailer on. Let me get a different trailer on. And then I'll bounce over to the Vive subreddit. We'll just see what the newest thing is going on right now in the Vive subreddit real quick, and then I can check back. 1 second here. So let's see. So bouncing over to the Vive subreddit, and the number one story is Iron Wolf VR, which is the VR submarine game that a lot of people rave about. I've never played Iron Wolf VR, but I have heard so many good things about it. It's also this multiplayer game, kind of like From Other Suns or Star Trek Bridge Crew or something, where there's a number of you working together. And this update brings a night mission, smooth locomotion, and a number of additional things. And I did grab a trailer for this, so let's go ahead and check out this newest trailer. If I can get to where we are here. Iron Wolf VR, Early Access 1.8. Let's check this out. Not the most intense production values there for Iron Wolf VR. Pretty basic on the on this trailer here. Is this basically the same thing? Yeah, so it looks like a UFO is flying towards your sub. You're about to be abducted, and you get to shoot a couple shots, or they're shooting at you, and that's pretty much the gist of it. So that is Iron Wolf VR. So definitely not a very intense trailer there, but I've heard tons of people rave about this game. It's always ranked pretty good on the top 100 rankings for both the Rift and the Vive. It usually shows up in the top 100. It is a lot of people rave about this game and play it a lot. Main Fan says it looks a lot better during the daytime. So anyway, that is Iron Wolf VR. It is getting a little bit of run on the Oculus subreddit. Let's see what else people are talking about on the Oculus subreddit. They are talking about Sebastian and MRTV and his opinion on the StarVR blowing everything away. And then the next biggest thread is My Adventure puzzle game releases today. And this is by Ewan15, and I do have a YouTube video for this. Now, this is The Lost and Forgotten Part 1. We've seen this trailer before. I heard about this before. The Lost and Forgotten. And check this out. This dev actually emailed me yesterday, and he emailed me a preview key for this, but I didn't get around to it. I should have played it last night, but I didn't get to it. But oh yeah, this is the one with like the Utah. Oh man, that's Zion, baby. Looks like Arizona or Utah. Yeah, I really do want to check this out. This guy hooked me up with a preview code for it. I think it's a single developer. It's being made by a single dude. So I'll be able to talk about this on tomorrow's episode, at least my opinions of some of the preview code for The Lost and Forgotten. But yeah, they are talking about this on the Vive subreddit. He built this game over his summer holiday, averaging 80-hour work weeks. The game contains around 1 to 2 hours of gameplay, so not very long at all. He's hoping for some financial support, going through university. Hope you enjoy the game as much as he enjoyed making it. Let me check out the Steam page. This is by Abstract Games. So yeah, this is $9 on Steam right now. It's Abstract Game Studio. $9 on Steam. After a rough relationship, you set for a trip to Monument Valley to rediscover the person you once were. The Lost and Forgotten is an adventure puzzle game featuring a rich story as you take your first strides into Monument Valley. After a fall, you wake up to the sounds of something strange and make your way down to the cave, which features many puzzles which are completed by completing the circuit. Okay, so it looks like, I mean, it's a very basic game. We're talking about 2 hours, made by one single dude. It has support for the HTC Vive. It doesn't actually say support for the Rift, but I'm sure it'll work. $9. I will try this later today. I'll definitely give you guys my opinion on this. I mean, not later today, but I'll give you guys my opinion tomorrow. But I will try this sometime today. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I just love that Utah look of the game, and so I definitely want to see that. The indoor areas, this cave does look relatively simple here. I like the music. So that is The Lost and Forgotten by Abstract Games. Okay, let's see. What else? What else are they talking about here over on the Vive subreddit? So they're talking about the Unbreakable Gumball. Update number 5 is now available. Anyone else crazy excited about getting the wireless adapter? Yeah, that is coming up. Tested was disappointed that Cyberpunk has no VR support. So that's interesting. And let's go ahead and bounce over to Oculus and see what the top stories are over here. Oculus Connect 5 update. More than a dozen new sessions revealed. Let me go ahead and throw a little Oculus Connect 5 logo on the board. We could talk about this for a second. So yeah, Oculus Connect 5 is coming up. And I'm on the Oculus blog here. It says we're less than a month away from our biggest event of the year. It is September 26th and 27th at the San Jose McEnery Convention Center. You can still register to attend OC5. I actually was going to go to this, but I'm going to use that $300 towards upgrading my video card. But they are going to have a lot of different events and a lot of different skill sessions and things that you can check out to kind of help you along. Authentically Us, providing a platform for unrepresented voices in VR. They're going to have a talk on that. Breaking the Story, emergent narratives from shared experiences. They're going to have a segment for that. Creative ways to get more eyes on your app. Developing different genres in VR, learnings from the edge of reality. That is going to be by the Forcefield creative director, Martin D. Rond. Forcefield, of course, has made a number of different VR games now. Medium and Quill for prototyping. The next generation of storytelling with immersive 6 degrees of freedom capture. That is by Brian Cabral, Facebook engineering director. Oculus Avatars, Maximizing Social Presence, Part 2. Mike Howard's going to run that. Tina Tran and others are going to run the Oculus Go content panel, Success for Mass Market VR. See, that's the other cool thing. We're probably going to hear about a lot of interesting Oculus Go stuff as well. Unlock the visual potential of VR using Unity Scriptable Render Pipeline by Brad Weirs, Unity AR VR Technical Product Manager. So really, I mean, Oculus Connect 5 honestly is much more for developers. If you're developing apps and games for either the Rift or the Go, and you want to get hooked up with Santa Cruz and all of that as well, it is a great idea to go ahead and get to Oculus Connect 5 late September. So that is coming up. Simon Jones, hey Anthony, just checking in. Hope you get to road test StarVR at some point. Well, I can tell you this, when it's in an arcade, if it's like in a Los Angeles arcade or a San Francisco arcade, I can travel to LA and San Francisco without too much trouble, especially San Francisco. I can just drive down to San Francisco. I could drive to LA. It's a bit of a stretch. I'd rather probably hop on a quick plane to LA. But I need to go down to LA anyway because Chris Richardson was talking about how they have they have the Void in LA. They have the IMAX VR in LA. They got Servios's arcade in LA. So if I could also try the StarVR headset, this new one, this more advanced one, I'll definitely travel to check that out. I absolutely need to try that out, or in San Francisco as well. So either way, I'm absolutely hoping I can get that. Ray Pope says, Ant, you might want to research bottlenecking. I was talking about how my rig way back in 2011, the card might be more than your CPU can deal with. Well, see, my CPU is an absolute champion of a CPU. It is an i5 2500K from the year of our Lord 2011, but that thing is overclocked to a crazy high number. I mean, I am overclocking the shit out of that i5 2500K, and it's the most ancient CPU out there, but it is a true workhorse. But yeah, I'm going to be bottlenecked. There's no question about it. If I throw a 1080 Ti into this ancient machine, first of all, I got to hope that I can fit the damn card in there and get it inside there and get it all working. I think it'll work. Am I going to be CPU bottlenecked? Absolutely, but it definitely will be better than having a 970. So, Fluke is saying he just got the notification that the stream is live. How weak is that? Yeah, well, I try to do this at 11 a.m. Pacific so that you don't really have to worry about all of that. Just show up at 11 a.m. Pacific. Sometimes it doesn't happen, though. Sometimes we are late. And, of course, Saturday, I might as well tell you guys, Saturday we start at noon Pacific because of the other podcasts. Let everybody peep that out. When that is over, they can kick back for a little bit, and then we start up at noon Pacific, so I think that works out well. And then Sunday, this live stream will always be 5 to 10 minutes after the VR Roundtable live stream concludes, and I call it the after party. So our Sunday show is the after party. You are encouraged to tune in to the live VR Roundtable episode, and then 5 to 10 minutes after that, you go ahead, you bounce over there to this channel, and you can check out the after party. That is Sunday. And then Monday through Friday, normally we're going to be 11 a.m. Pacific. All right, let's see. What else are we doing here in chat? Crunchy says they are also going to discuss the future of the Rift, which is probably the most exciting. Yeah, I mean, well, to me, the most exciting thing is to have a Santa Cruz name, a Santa Cruz release date, a Santa Cruz price, the final version of Santa Cruz and to try some actual Santa Cruz experiences. That is really huge. The next Rift is obviously, that's the biggest thing, but I don't think we're getting the next Rift in 2019 because it doesn't make sense that they would have these two products that would compete head to head with each other in the same year. I know one is standalone and one is PC based, but let's face it, the person that is interested in these things is going to be interested in both of them. And they're not necessarily going to have that much cashola to be throwing at both of them. So they're going to be torn. They're going to have to make a decision between the two. And so it's cannibalization. So I do not see CV2 in the year 2019. It's unfortunate. I don't think it's going to happen. But we might get some basic information on CV2, kind of where they're going, the direction they're traveling with CV2. Fluke says, I had my 1080 Ti running on my old 2600K for a month or two before moving to an 8700K. The 2600K was certainly holding the Ti back. Fluke, what did you have before the 1080 Ti? Because imagine you had a 970 with your 2600K, and then you threw a 1080 Ti in there. There has to be an improvement. Yeah, your CPU is definitely going to hold you back. It's not so much the power of your 2600K, it's all those extra instruction sets that have been added to the Intel CPU over the years that an old ass ancient CPU from 2011, it's not going to fly there. But Fuzzy Dragon says, have you considered trying a virtual reality laptop? I've been running off the 1060 laptop for over a year and absolutely love the mobility. I've thought about VR laptops, not so much for my own personal situation, but for this mobile VR thing that I'm trying to get started up. And, it's certainly a consideration. But for my primary VR playing, like I kind of think of this is my living room. When it's Saturday night or Sunday, and you got a Blu-ray movie and you're going to kick back on your sofa, you got your big 70-inch TV on the wall, you're kicking back. Well, for me, that's VR. And so I have a dedicated VR space. And I figure every house that I ever go to, I'm going to have a dedicated VR space. And if I'm going to have a dedicated VR space, I might as well have a beastly desktop that it's connected to. The laptop mobility is nice. If I could have maybe took my Rift to Hawaii. It would have been a pain in the ass though, bringing laptops, bringing USB sensors. That's where we really need the inside out tracking. That's why a Windows mixed reality headset with a laptop is a better idea. Hopefully, as Windows mixed reality continues to move along, we've got to really hope for a second generation of Windows mixed reality. I know we have the Acer Oho 500, but I don't know that second generation. I'm talking about second generation tracking. I'm talking about more advanced tracking, cameras maybe on the bottom for your remotes there, because you get a Windows mixed reality with a laptop, a nice VR gaming laptop. You have portability. That is legit portability. I would have took that with me to Hawaii. Okay, Crunchy is saying we won't get the next Rift, but we should get more information. Absolutely. Lethal Weasel VR. Sure, you'll bottleneck, but you've got to start somewhere. Yeah, I believe like the single biggest improvement I can make to my VR gaming situation right now is bumping it up to a 1080 Ti. So, hoping to find somebody in late September. They are going to upgrade to that 2080 Ti. And I will take their 1080 Ti, and I think it'll be a major upgrade. I'm really hoping for that. How much bottleneck am I getting for VR? He's got an i5 4670K overclocked to 4.2 with a Strix 1080. I'm not sure about your i5 4670. That is not a... The last time I really got into focusing on CPUs was back in the spring of 2011 when I was building that PC. Usually what I do is if I'm going to build a PC tower, I will study motherboards and memory. Like, I'll intensely study that stuff, like on Tom's Hardware Guide. I'll go to all kinds of websites. Really, NeoGAF. If you want to know the truth, guys, if you guys are about to build a PC, you got to go to NeoGAF, man. Those guys have it dialed in. There's so many NeoGAF threads. They know their Shiite. They really do. They really know their shiitake mushrooms. I'm telling you. I would just go to NeoGAF. They will have a lot of information on that. I'm just throwing up a random trailer here as I continue to check chat. Okay. Fluke says, I did. I had a 970, a 980, a 1070, then the 1080 Ti. Man, you went through the entire freaking roster there. There was absolutely an improvement, of course, but the 2600K couldn't max the Ti from the few benchmarks I did before and after upgrading. Yeah, and there's certain games you're going to play, like Job Simulator. Job Simulator, as simple as that game is, it wants a modern day CPU. It does not like these old CPUs. There's a lot of little experiences. There are certain things that Steve and Gary have played that even if I get a 1080 Ti, I'm not going to be able to play it because my CPU is ancient and it doesn't have these new instructions, the instruction sets that go with the CPU. And so do I need to build an entirely new tower from scratch? Absolutely. I absolutely do. But, you know, everything within time is kind of the way I look at it. I am Rut. Seriously, make sure there is enough space in the case. Fried a brand new graphics card years back because of this. It was a $500 card too. Yeah, I mean, I have the 970. I mean, I only have one graphics card in there, and it's like a full-size tower. So I might have to like move some cabling around. It might be a bit of a pain in the ass because like getting in there right now, there's like cables and things. It's really congested. I would probably have to like reroute some cables, get some longer connections and certain things like that. Crunchy says he's going to be building a new system for second generation VR. It's an exciting thing to do. I love building a brand new PC. It's a wonderful project to have. I look forward to the entire process of it. You know, I'm thinking about what case do I want? What motherboard do I want? What CPU do I want? What heat sink is going to go with the CPU? Is it going to be the stock one? Am I going to get an aftermarket heat sink for the CPU? All of those questions, you know, the memory, the GPU is certainly the most important thing that's going to be in there. Your power supply. Actually, power supply isn't as important as it used to be. Power supplies used to be crazy important, but these new cards are very good with their power supplies. So power supply is not as mission. You still want to get a really solid power supply, but you don't necessarily need like those 800 watt power supplies and all that crazy stuff from back in the days. But yeah, I love building a new PC. The scariest part about it is the thermal paste on your CPU. It's putting the thermal paste on your CPU, putting that thing in there, and then, you know, your heat sink on top of your CPU. That is the only real critical part of it. Everything else is really quite easy. Getting Windows, you know, getting whatever version of Windows up on there is obviously an issue as well. So that is PC Talk 2017. Okay, let's see here. What else can we get into? I do have some other trailers to pop on here for a second. Why don't we look at, you know, we can talk about Magic Leap for a split second here. This is not long at all, but Magic Leap is in the news because they are having a Leap conference. Now, this is coming up in October. It is in Los Angeles. Speaking of going to various events, this is October 9th and 10th in Los Angeles. Join the greatest minds in spatial computing for our first ever Leap conference and discover how to wield the worldly powers of Magic Leap 1. Yeah, I would like to go to this. I certainly would like to go to this. I'd much rather go to Oculus Connect 5 than go to this. But I'd love to go to this because I imagine if I did go to this, I'd probably be able to sample quite a few Magic Leap experiences. I would imagine, you know, if you're going to pay the money to go for this, I have no idea how much it costs to get into this. Where's Noah when we need him? So I'm not sure. I know it's 300 bones to get into Oculus Connect 5. Don't know how much this is to get into. This, of course, is LA. It's a bit of a stretch for me. I can drive to LA. San Jose, a lot easier on the gas tank. That guy looks happy. Someone else must have paid for it. Yeah, no. The pictures, I like their logos and stuff. This kind of symbolized, computerized, retro-ish look. The color there looks pretty cool. Yeah, I've seen Magic Leap, actually. We saw it on Sebastian. Did you guys see the video? MRTV with Magic Leap, Sebastian doing big things. I thought it looked pretty good on him. It does. When I first saw the Magic Leap 1, I thought it was an ugly space age looking bug-eyed. I called it Starship Troopers. I was like, this is some crazy bug-eyed thing. But as I see it on more and more people's heads, I'm starting to realize that it's not actually that bad. They actually did a relatively decent job there. So that is the LEAP conference, October 9th and October 10th in LA. And the hope there, just from us on the outside looking in, one of the hopes as far as that goes is, could we possibly see some really high-end AAA Magic Leap stuff? Like, what are they going to use to try to tempt the masses? Where is the Lucasfilm Star Wars stuff? Where is the Weta Workshop stuff? You know, where's Dr. Groarbort's? Where's all of that? Probably get a look at that. I would imagine you'll probably be able to maybe wait in line and play Dr. Groarbort's at this conference. So that is cool. Let's take a look at some game that slipped through the cracks. This is called Frankenstein. Frankenstein VR. I'll talk about it more. Let's check it out.
Humanity passes aimlessly. Why? Because here it lives its own life.
So this game is called Frankenstein Beyond the Time. The developer is The Dust SA. And this game is another one of these VR games that just slips through the cracks. How many games have we seen like this? Like, looking at this trailer, it looks like an interesting game. Graphically, it looks like it's got some advanced graphics, unless all of this is hocus pocus and you get into the game, it looks nothing like this. But I mean, these graphics look great, but I haven't heard anybody talk about this at all. Frankenstein Beyond the Time. I have reached out to the developer. I'm trying to get a review code for this game to check it out, but there's just so many little VR games like this that seem to slip through the cracks. You just kind of wonder about it. Let me do a search on Steam. I think it's $19.99. Frankenstein Beyond the Time, Steam. So, yeah, this is $20. There's 5 user reviews. It came out on August 1st. And all the user reviews are recommended, but you know, there's Ben Plays VR, so there's somebody we can trust. Ben Plays, and Paradise Decay. Paradise Decay has a review on it. Paradise says, my thoughts, Frankenstein Beyond the Time is a hidden object game in VR with some amazing graphics. The game is still a bit janky in parts. Loading screens are very long. You'll probably think the game has crashed. It hasn't. Just give it time. Picking up objects just doesn't feel quite right. And I did have some tracking issues on the Oculus Rift. Okay, and then let's see. Ben Plays VR is saying, Frankenstein Beyond the Time is an item collecting game. Gameplay consists of several chapters in which you'll look all around for specific items and then assemble them inside the machine. It seems the game wants you to find items in a particular order. The graphics are very good. The environments are highly detailed, and it all feels very polished. There are some physical bugs, blah, blah, blah. The longer you play, the more spooky elements will appear. You'll get up to 4 hours of playtime, so for $20, it's a decent value. So anyway, Ben Plays VR did try it. Paradise did try it. I just thought it was kind of interesting. Like, Frankenstein is like a cool concept, you know. It's too bad that it seems kind of simple. Where is a Maniac Mansion style VR game? Crunchy says, yeah, that would be really cool. But yeah, it's I just thought it was an interesting game that has slipped through the cracks. There's so many of these games, so many little VR games always coming out at all different kinds of times. Okay, so the next story we'll go ahead and get into is, let's talk about pros for a second. Did anybody try this demo yesterday, the pros prologue? Because I tried it, and I got to tell you, I had some excitement. I had some hype for this game when I first saw this trailer and heard about it. It looks pretty good. But I tried this game yesterday, and well, I tried the prologue version of it, which it is free on Steam. It's basically a demo. And let's see, I actually wrote some thoughts about it. So it's funny. Sometimes when I'm playing a VR game, one of the things I will do is I'll open up a little WordPad on my computer, and I'll put whatever the name of the game is, and then I'll put positives and I'll put negatives. And then, like, as I'm playing the game, if I'm like, oh, this is really janky. I'll go over to my computer and I'll type it out real quick, because sometimes I'll forget about all the different things that I experienced, right? And so for Pros Prologue, I have a category of positives, and then I have a category of negatives, and the positives category is empty. There's nothing in the positives category. The negative category has quite a few negatives in it. Let's watch just a little bit of this trailer, and then I'll tell you guys about the negatives. Like, see, all of this looks good.
Pros.
Oh, we caught the very end of the trailer. We can start it over. So the full version is November. What I'm talking about is the prologue, which is basically a demo. And see, I saw these graphics, and I'm like, that looks pretty good. This looks like another Red
January
Matter
15th,
kind of a game.
1976. I was in charge of the PR-03E
Little
experiment.
Apex construct
One
with the
day,
keyboard
my
there.
fears turned into reality.
You know, kind of some episode, the gallery episode 1 a little bit with your backpack and radio.
My name is Anatoly.
You know, I've played plenty of these games that have been fun, but I got into the demo of this game, which is available to everybody, so go ahead and check it out. And I gotta say, number one of the biggest negatives, let me get my negative list up. Okay, constant stutter and jitter made the game nearly unplayable. Now, we were just talking about my PC from the year 2011 with a 970 in there. So whenever I'm in a game that has a lot of stutter and jitter, like, I'll try to find out from other people if they're experiencing the same thing, because it could be my underpowered PC. And I'm not going to blame a lot of these VR developers for that, because they might say, look, this requires a 1070 or above, and I'm not there. And so, you know, I understand that. But the stutter and jitter was really significant. The only time it stopped is if, let's say there's like a table right over there, and I just stop and I look at the table and I don't move my view whatsoever, the jitter and the stutter would stop. But anytime I was moving my head around, it was like jitter. It was just bad. I forced my way through it. I tried to power my way through it. Okay, the next thing that pissed me the hell off were blinders, these automatic blinders. So here's the deal. When we're playing VR, we're already in a scuba diver's mask when we're playing VR. Then this game, what they do is they add these extra blinders. As you move, the blinders kind of zzz, you know, and so it's like you're in a scuba diver mask looking through binoculars. That's what you feel like with these blinders that's in the demo, in the prologue. I could not figure out how to turn the blinders off. I couldn't get into an options menu to turn those blinders off. So that really did suck. The next big problem of the game was the inverse kinematics. So in Pros Prologue, they have you in a full body situation. You know, you see your hands, you see your arms, your entire body, right? But there's so many times I was playing this where my head my head is like over here and my body is twisted around like this, and I'm like the headless horseman when I'm playing this game. The inverse kinematics were way the hell off so much that my recommendation for these developers is junk the inverse kinematics, go back to just having hands, because those inverse kinematics do not work. Let's see, Pros Prologue. Who's the developer? Let me see who the developer is. Pros Prologue, which is free to play. And then Episode 1 Enlightenment is their full game that's coming in November. So Sign. Yeah, I've never heard of this developer. Sign. Don't know who they are. They do not have any other VR games on Steam. But, you know, it's free. You can try the demo. I encourage anybody to at least try the demo. Check it out. I didn't get very far in it. I was trying to get into this computer system. I put in Anatoly's name and I used various passwords, different numbers that I saw in the environment, but none of them really worked. But if everything was working beautifully, if there was no stutter whatsoever, if there was no blinders, if the inverse kinematics either was A, fixed, or B, really, I think, scrapped. I think just scrap the inverse kinematics. Just give us good hand presence. That's all you need to worry about. If all of that was done, this could possibly be kind of like a poor man's Red Matter, which could be a decent game. So that is Pros Prologue. Certainly something that you can give a try because it is 100% free. Let's see what folks are talking about in chat. Fluke Rogi says, I always thought Batman Arkham VR felt like how you transplant a point-and-click adventure into VR. Yes, it does kind of have that point-and-click style. I think he's going back to Maniac Mansion, which Crunchy is saying, where the heck is our Maniac Mansion? Fluke says, the new Oculus Store sale feels a bit underwhelming. There seems to be a lot of $5 off deals rather than a decent percentage. Lethal Weasel says, I wonder what the forced blinders will be like in the extra wide FOV headsets. Yeah, that'll be way more annoying. That's a good point. For those of us that are stuck with these tiny FOVs, at least our blinders are not gigantic. Chris Gold says, Blind is out on the Oculus Store. What? Blind is out? That is a surprise release. That is like a stealth release. Holy smokes. Blind... Yeah, I'm not seeing it on Blind VR. That's by Tiny Bull Studios, right? Yeah, Blind is not, it's not out on Steam. It says Q3 2018. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, Blind on the Oculus Store. Is this true? This is a shocker. It looks like it must be a little bit of a timed exclusive. Blind. Pre-order at promotional price. No, it says expected to be available on September 18th for $20. You can pre-order it. September 18th for $20, so you get $5 off. Blind is September 18th, but hey, that's a release date for Blind, which Blind is a game that looked pretty sweet. I think I have a Blind trailer. Let me look for my Blind trailer. If not, I can go ahead and download one real quick. I know it's Tiny Bull Studios is the developer of Blind. Not seeing Blind, so let me go grab that trailer real quick. Tiny Bull Studios. You scared me there, Fluke. I thought I'd have to buy it right away. Now, I don't know if how good Blind is. I mean, it looks pretty good. The trailer doesn't show a ton. If I remember the trailer, it didn't exactly show a ton. Blind is also going to be on PSVR. That's where I'm grabbing this official trailer for Blind. So let me go ahead and grab this. But September is starting to get crowded, especially right around September 18th. September 18th is really getting crowded. So grabbing this Blind trailer, we will have it in just a momento. This is courtesy of Fluke. Okay, here's the Blind announced trailer for PlayStation VR. Let's go ahead and check this out.
Welcome, Jean. You're finally awake. I'm sure you'll be fine here.
I can't see anything. What do you want from me? Where's Scott? Who are you?
Take that.
What is it?
It'll help you find your way until you get your sight back. If you don't use it, you'll be left in the dark. And if you stay in the dark, you won't be able to...
To do what?
Get out, Jean.
I want to get out!
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know that this is one that we should be, like, clamoring for. It looks very much like Stifled, you know, kind of going with that Stifled style. And one of the things that Fluke says is just looking at this trailer, he can only imagine how horrible the God rays would be, especially on an Oculus Rift. It's the one thing I notice every time I play my Rift now. I seem to notice the God rays way more than ever before, and I think it's a side effect of the Oculus Go. The Oculus Go, whatever they're doing, they've figured out how to reduce the God rays to a tremendous degree, and that is really huge. But this game, Blind, is coming on September 18th to the Oculus Store. I'm assuming it might hit Steam that same day and hit PSVR that same day, but I'm not sure. Let's see, going back to what people are talking about here. Ray Delatorre says, I really like my Go also. Yeah, dude, the Go is a great product. I really should play it some more and actually talk about some more Go stuff. The Go is a great product. Main Fan says, Red Matter has better puzzles. Red Matter is a great game. Red Matter is one of 2018's best games, in my opinion. Some people might think I'm like way overblowing how good Red Matter is, but I love the music. I love the clarity of those rooms that you're in. I think the story does get kind of corny and a little bit goofy towards the end and kind of silly, like the ending might not be that great, but Red Matter is an underrated game. I think it's the best puzzle game maybe since like Talos and Zing and stuff. Like, I don't think there's anything that can hang with that. Chris Ruled says, God rays, yeah, getting this on PSVR. Actually, I'd get this on the Go. I wonder if they could do this on the Go with a controller. T-Dub is saying, good point, talking to Fluke. White on black background, not very good. Bullet Ape hadn't picked up Red Matter, but he likes Torn. Yeah, if you like Torn, you should probably buy Red Matter straight up, especially if you have an Oculus Rift, you're playing it natively with the touch controllers. If you can, you know, maybe wait for a sale. I don't know. Is Red Matter like $5 off? I have not checked out this Oculus sale. I can go to the sale real quick. Let's check it out. Rift experiences. See, the thing about sales is we have so many VR sales, and some of them are so incredibly aggressive, like very aggressive sales, that it just makes it very difficult not to pick up some of these games. But I would imagine that eventually we're going to start not having as many sales, right? I'm trying to just look at the games that are on sale here. Okay, so Gorn is $5 off. It's $15. Job Simulator is $18. Box VR is $15. Arctica 1 $24. Rush $12. Table Tennis $15. Red Matter is $27. See, here's the deal. Red Matter is normally $35. Red Matter's kind of a pricey premium game, so $27, not a bad deal. You get what you pay for, man. Red Matter's pretty solid. Along Together is half off, $10. Haven't heard a ton about Along Together. The Wizards is half off for $10. Never was a major fan of the Wizard. Shooty Fruity, $12. Shooty Fruity's kind of not that great. Yeah, you know, I'm not seeing like any super spectacular deals. Cold Iron is only $5. It's normally $14. So if you are if you really want another wave shooter, I guess Cold Iron is not that bad. You know, if you're desperate for another wave shooter. Floor Plan is $3. Heart of the Emberstone, $20. Yeah, it's pretty much like $5 off. You're pretty accurate on that. Wanted Killer VR is $8. Carnival VR, Carnival Games VR. This game always goes on sale. Normal price $20. It's $5, but it's always on sale. Unnightly is down to $14. Normal price $20. There's just always deals. There are always deals. Please Don't Touch Anything. That's on sale. The other game that always goes on sale is Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. That thing is usually always on sale. Also, Football Nation VR. This game is forever on sale. Supposedly its normal price is $15, but it's on sale for $6. But it's always on sale. It's like they're always trying to tempt people to think, oh, this is so cheap, I'll grab it. Haven't really gotten back into that. It's not horrible. I just never could quite get the controls of it. High Noon VR shooting game, that is $5. Yeah. So anyways, those are some of the deals going on the Oculus store. Nothing too spectacular over there. Chris Gold says, all those games on the sale are always up there for the same price. Fluke says he refunded Shooty Fruity in the last sale, hated it. Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly basic. Shooty Fruity, when it came out in a dead week, and I think it got a little bit more love. Chris Gold says, I have been seduced back into PSVR with Bow to Blood and Code 51. I just forgot how more comfortable this baby is when... the PSVR, the one thing about PSVR, it is like a pillow. That's why when we were watching that Acer Oho 500 video and it mentioned pillow, my mind immediately shot back to the PSVR, because the PSVR is such a comfortable thing on top of your head. It is a great design that Sony went with. Bow to Blood, Chris, my question for you is, are you using your DualShock or are you using your Move controllers? And have you been able to come to grips with the controls for Bow to Blood? Because I struggled with it seems like there's a lot to learn with Bow to Blood. I need to give it some more opportunities, some more chances. I actually have not gone back into that. And I want to continue playing Torn, but I do want to check out the Lost and Forgotten, the one that has that video where it kind of looks like Utah made by a single dude. I definitely want to check that out. Chris Gold says DualShock, far better. Okay, you know what? I think I need to switch to the DualShock. I think that's my big mistake, because I started with DualShock and then I thought, oh, this supports moves, so let me use moves for real hand presence. But you know what? Maybe DualShock is the way to go. I definitely will have to switch back to that. Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes is an awesome game. I've been playing that with my missus, and I find it hilarious, but I must say it really doesn't need VR. It's always on sale. Oh, Fuzzy Dragon hated Red Matter. Dude, how do you hate something that is drop dead gorgeous with really good music? Now, okay, it does play that same tune endlessly, but it's a good tune. It's a good tune. It's basically a escape the room kind of a game. What did you hate about it, man? The only thing I hate, I didn't hate anything about it, but I thought the ending story was corny. But I don't know, maybe it was just the game looked like it was running on a 1080 Ti, but I got a 970. And I'm playing a game that looks like it's running on a 1080 Ti on my 970. Maybe that's why I liked Red Matter so much. It made me feel like I had a 1080 Ti. I don't know how you hated that. Bullet Ape says he watched Paradise Decay playing The Assembly. That looks kind of interesting too. The Assembly is a very old game, right? It's been around for quite some time. But anyways, folks, let me just go ahead and take a look at Upload VR. Let's see what the top stories of the day is. They are talking about Oculus 5 and all the different sessions that they're going to have at Oculus 5, where they kind of break it down, the different talks, the different sessions about social presence, storytelling, diversity, blah, 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 blah. So they're talking about that. They're talking about how Insomniac and Oculus are going to host that public demo session for Stormland at PAX. Not only this, though, you don't even need to go inside PAX. If you're in Seattle, you might be able to get your hands on Stormland, and I think it's today. It's from 11 a.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. It's on 3rd Avenue in Seattle, Washington. I think it's today, man. You could actually get your hands on Stormland. How awesome would that be? Yeah, it is today, August 31st. I need to catch a plane. I need to immediately get there. I want to play some Stormland. They're talking about Firewall 0 Hour, blah, blah, blah. I will have that soon, and I'll have late takes on Firewall. By the time everybody is done with Firewall and never wants to hear another word about Firewall, that's when I'll get my hands on Firewall. Marvel Powers United does have an update. I did hear about that. Maybe that's an excuse for me to actually fire that game up again. Watch the real Magic Leap whale take flight in Helio Web experiment. This is a story that is on Road to VR, so you can check that out as well. But my stomach is starting to make noises, which typically tells me that I am hungry and I need to start thinking about lunch. So anyway, guys, I basically need to bounce out of here. So check me out tomorrow, Saturday. It will be 12 noon. Saturday, we do it at noon. Let me go ahead and throw on my outro. Trailer. I will play the Lost and Forgotten, so I will have thoughts on that. This, of course, has been VR Game Rankings. Definitely go ahead and bounce over to the website. You know, it's funny, on the Oculus Rift subreddit, there was actually a thread that said, is VR Game Rankings dead or what? And the guy was like, dude hasn't updated the top 100, the top 200 since like early July. And I was like, man, yeah, I haven't. But you know what I did update? I updated the last 90 days rankings for the Oculus Rift, the HTC Vive, and PlayStation VR. So all of the last 90 days rankings have been updated. And I've updated all of the most wanted rankings, the top 20 most wanted Oculus Rift games, the top 40 most wanted, top 40 most wanted HTC Vive games, the top 20 most wanted PlayStation VR games. They have all been updated. The top 20 overall, when you mix all the platforms, top 50 overall, all of those have been updated. The regular rankings hopefully will be updated by later next week. I have to go through all the submissions, tally everything up. It takes a while. It is time consuming because I actually rank 200 games. I rank 200 Oculus games, 200 HTC Vive games. I rank 100 PlayStation VR games. It takes some time to do that kind of a ranking, but I do feel like it is beneficial to newbies that are just jumping on VR. All right, everybody, it is 12:12. A great time to end the show. See you guys tomorrow at 12 noon Pacific. Take it easy. Later.